Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Steph.
And this is Not Today. Hey! Oh, beat you to it.
No.
Beat you to it.
Hi. I liked that intro you gave.
Yes, it's very original.
It was
fun. It's
fun.
my idea. I thought of it, not you.
And this is Not Today.
You like it?
Yeah, that was good.
I don't think I sounded that different.
No?
When I listened back, but I don't know. I had a touch of morning radio host vibe.
Yeah, that's the vibes you were giving off.
I know, I did. I tried to do the voice last time, and now I'm slipping back into it sometimes. I think it's fun.
Good. I'm glad. What's happening in our lives? Anything?
I'm going home.
You are?
To mi familia.
Uh-huh.
For a week.
Michigan.
In Michigan.
Love that.
At an undisclosed location.
Right. For all you stalkers out there.
Yeah. Try and find me, bitch. I'm in Michigan.
Try. You try.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited. It's been long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
There's baby cousins involved.
Love
Actually,
that.
all 4 of them.
Fun.
That I get to play with and enjoy and see everyone else.
Love that.
You know.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing exciting happening in my hectic life right now is the new episode of Rick and Morty was really fun. I don't know, I've never enjoyed an episode like that one last night. I was just having so much fun.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. If you're a fan and you haven't seen it, definitely watch it.
It's free on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I don't know why. I still understand why they put the premiere on YouTube, but I'm really not mad about it because it was just so much easier to watch.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You just pull it up on your smart TV.
Yeah,
boom, boom.
Your smart TV.
I don't know. Smart TVs are cheap.
That's true.
The one I got was like $200.
Hell yeah.
And you can definitely get it for way cheaper.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang. Boom,
smart TV.
Bow.
Anyway, I don't know. I guess we can...
Yeah, it's kind of a little Rick and Morty ad, but oh god, it's so funny. I won't give it away.
Yeah, don't. We'll just kickflip into this episode, shall we?
Yeah, a little backflip into the story.
Yeah.
A little shimmy.
Face plant in. So we're gonna talk about... Actually, I'm not gonna give it away. I'll give you my sources. My sources are from... I first heard about this story on the Infographic Show on YouTube. There was a good article on the Washington Post by Abigail Trafford that was posted in 1995. The Herald Scotland and AP News. So those are my sources.
Shout out AP.
Yeah, sure. Shout out AP. So we're gonna do a little rewind to May of 1995. And 2 doctors were waiting to board British Airways Flight 747 from Hong Kong to London.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? You're very excited?
Yeah, no, I'm ready for the story.
Okay.
I'm bracing.
Okay.
Flight 747 from Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong?
From Hong Kong.
Stop.
Okay.
Anyway, their names were Dr. Angus Wallace, who was the head of orthopedic surgery at Queen's Medical Center in Notting, England, and doctor number 2 was Dr. Tom Wong, who was a resident practitioner at Dundee's Nine Wells Hospital in Scotland.
Yo, he lives in Notting.
Oh, Notting, dude.
Sick. Not today. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll leave. I'll fucking leave.
Okay, bye. So the 2 doctors arrived that day for their flight on time. However, a woman named Paula Dixson had a much more chaotic experience that day. So, trying to stretch out her 10-day vacation in Hong Kong, the 38-year-old mother of 3 had left herself precious little time to make her 11:45 p.m. flight out of Kai Tak Airport. And during her dash to make that flight, Paula fell off of the moving motorcycle that she was using to transport herself to the airport, and she hit the pavement and bruised and cut her arm pretty badly.
Damn. So she was riding a motorcycle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're starting
Why
this...
did you say it that way?
What?
She was on a motorcycle.
Yes.
That she was using to transport herself.
So I may or may not have copy and pasted that statement from another website.
I don't know. It just the way, when you say that, it makes me feel like she was on the back of a motorcycle.
Well, I think
somebody riding it.
Well,
somebody else driving it.
There was somebody else driving it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was her fiance at the time, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, would you like to tell the story, my
Yeah,
guy?
I would.
Or
Give me the notes. You're done.
okay, you've been fired. So she walked away from the accident, believing that she had only banged up her arm, and since she didn't really feel like anything was really wrong, and she still wanted to get on the flight that day, she went to the airport. And once she got to the airport, they were able to put her on flight 747 since she had missed her original flight. And as she boarded the plane, she told the flight attendants that she had some pain in her arm because, she was just in a motorcycle accident.
Right.
And luckily for her, Dr. Wong and Dr. Wallace were on the flight that day, and they came to examine her arm. And she stated that she had just fallen from a bike, so Dr. Wallace assumed that she meant a bicycle. And they told her that she seemed to have fractured her arm, but to just wait until the plane was in the air and then they could use the first aid kit on board to patch up her arm for the flight until she would be able to get to a hospital on the ground. So the two doctors went back to their seats, and as soon as they reached cruising altitude, Dr. Wong and Dr. Wallace came back to where Paula was sitting. And they took a few bandages out of the first aid kit and fashioned a quick fix splint out of a Hong Kong newspaper and rubber bands to patch up her arm, and they left her in a sling.
Oh, yeah, this is field medicine, baby. Like,
oh, yeah.
A newspaper?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a very, improvised thing that they're gonna be doing, so.
Yeah, the other thing, one thought that crossed my mind is, I don't know why they would just be like, oh, yeah, get on. If she's fractured something, she probably or might have internal bleeding.
Okay, Dr. Alex. Well, they were on the plane already. So
okay.
She wasn't just in the Hong Kong airport. They were already on the plane and about to take off. And they were like, we're not going to get off the plane. You definitely don't want to get off the plane. So we'll just give you a little splint. And then when you land, you can go to the hospital and you'll be fine. Because they just figured that her arm was banged up.
Right. How long is this flight?
I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Okay. So only an hour later, 33,000 feet above the Bay of Bengal, the doctors were rushed back to Paula. And the flight attendants explained to them that she had bent over to take off her shoes and felt a stabbing pain in her left side. And suddenly she couldn't catch her breath. So the doctors thought that she had just bruised a few ribs in the crash, but after examining her, they discovered that she had actually broken quite a few ribs, which, as you can imagine, was extremely painful. And thankfully, there was a strong morphine-based painkiller on the plane, so they were able to give that to her. But directly after giving it to her, Paula began to have a lot of trouble breathing, and Dr. Wallace and Dr. Wong quickly realized that they had an emergency situation on their hands. And I don't think she couldn't catch her breath because of the painkiller, but it was just her condition was getting worse.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it would necessarily cause that either, from my extensive
medical background.
Right. But yeah, if she's broken ribs and she just keeps going on with life, that's pretty badass.
Well, they're an hour into a flight and they can't really do much at this point.
I know, I'm just saying she broke them before the flight.
She did,
so
but
she's
she didn't
fully broken her ribs for a few hours now and is just just gonna go on a plane.
Right, yeah. I mean, she just, I guess, really wanted to get to her destination. So she, even if she was in some, pain, which I'm sure she was like, well, it's fine. I'm not gonna die,
yeah,
right?
Had to be. Yeah, right.
Right, guys? So her symptoms had shown that one of her cracked ribs had punctured her lung, and the air that escaped from her lung was forming an air bubble in her chest. So
no.
This is a condition called pneumothorax, and it's essentially a collapsed lung. And a pneumothorax occurs when air leaks into the space between your lung and chest wall. The air pushes on the outside of your lung and makes it collapse. A pneumothorax can be a complete lung collapse or a collapse of only a portion of the lung. And if this was left untreated, it would have been deadly.
Yeah, not doing good with this one as a mild hypochondriac.
You're like, can I breathe?
Oh, jeez.
Did I break a rib today while sitting at my desk? Did I puncture a lung today? You're fine.
Yeah, well, no shit, she can't breathe. She's got one lung.
That's right. And so now this feels like a good time to tell you that the flight that they were on was going to be 14 hours long, and they were only about an hour into it. And also there were 300 passengers on board.
Right. And these people have places to be. Like, we don't have time for this woman to be dying.
Right.
Okay? People have appointments.
I mean, that's not really what I meant when I said that there were 300 people. I more meant like, you know, it's a full plane and now they have to literally save a woman's life, which is kind of dramatic. But
the drama.
The drama of it all.
Well, are they like in the open ocean at this point, or like, or no? This is dumb. They're going to Great Britain, right?
They're going to London. Yeah.
They're going to London. They're overland.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it was over the Bay of Bengal. That's what it said in the article.
But like they're about to go over China, right?
Yeah, sure.
Are they going to re-land the plane?
Well, let's find out, shall we? So, if this was left untreated, she would have died. I already said that. So now this is fully a life or death situation, and the doctors thought about asking the pilot to emergency land the plane, but that was quickly ruled out because the change in air pressure could have killed Paula. So...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, but if they just left her, the escaped air from her collapsed lung could compress the other lung, and soon she wouldn't have been able to breathe at all, meaning she would also die if they left her there. So they're like, what do we do? You know? They sang that song. And then...
right, as one does.
Right. And then they came up with the, you know... Genius idea that the only option was surgery right then and there.
Are you joking?
I'm not joking.
Are they surgeons?
Yes. Or one of them is. I don't know if the other one is.
I forgot what I'm sorry, but I really forgot what you said the credentials
were.
were.
Yeah, so Dr. Wallace is an orthopedic surgeon. Lucky for Paula, who happened to stumble onto this flight. Dr. Wallace is a very experienced, like, orthopedic surgeon. So, sick. Anyway.
Yes, sick.
But the first aid kit on this flight didn't have just spare surgical tools in it.
Yeah, so, where's the scalpel at?
Yeah, so they really had to get creative. So they started asking people what they had in their carry-on luggage. But, you know, actually, I think they did have a scalpel because they were able to do a little cutsy poo later on. But
cutsy poo.
But okay.
I love that from you.
Great. But one of the sources was like, oh, they didn't have a scalpel, and then the other one was like, oh, they had a scalpel. So let's just say they had one. Okay?
Cool.
Okay, great. One thing they did also have was lidocaine, which was a local anesthetic. And what they really needed was a tube to stick into her chest to release the trapped air. They did manage to find a tube in the medical kit on board, but it was a urinary catheter, which, if you don't know, is something they shove up your pee hole to get the pee out.
Yeah, I was like, that's a pee tube.
That's a pee tube, not a chest tube, so wasn't great. And they didn't think they'd be able to use it since it was pretty small and didn't have much structure to it. So they didn't think it would be strong enough to, you know, go through her chest. They needed it to go through the muscles in her chest and not just like a pre-existing pee hole. So I'll stop with the pee.
So yeah.
Yeah. So their solution to this was Dr. Wallace found a coat hanger that he used to thread through the catheter to reinforce it, which basically turned it into a trocar, which is a medical instrument used to draw fluid from a body cavity.
Yo, Kaylee is going to eat this podcast up.
Our friend, yes.
Who is a medical person.
Yes.
AT.
Yeah, my mom always gets a kick out of whenever we talk about medical shit, so...
yeah, we're clueless.
We're clueless and uneducated, but we're having fun, yes. So... we hope you are too. Anyway, so they wanted to disinfect this tube and the hanger combo, but all they had was a really good Remy Martin brandy to do that.
Remy.
Yes.
Let's go.
So the flight attendants held blankets around Mrs. Dixon, Dr. Wallace, and Dr. Wong as they injected her with the lidocaine to stop the pain. And now the doctors needed to construct something to stop the air from getting into the other end of the tube. So they made a one-way valve. And they did this by threading a small piece of oxygen mask tubing through a hole in a cap of a half-filled water bottle. which I don't
What?
really fully know what that means, but if you're a medical person and you understand what I'm saying, go off. You know what I mean?
A
They
whole and a half filled water bottle.
Yeah, so basically I don't think we're going to understand what's happening, but let's just say
Right.
they did what they had to do.
Sure.
Yeah? So that was good for them. And now they needed to stick this tube into Paula's chest.
Right.
So they laid Paula across a row of seats, and with a scalpel that we decided they had, Dr. Wallace made an incision just below her collarbone and into Paula's chest. And since they didn't have clamps to hold open this incision, it became Dr. Wong's job to hold it open using a plastic knife and fork.
Oh, what?
But-
Like just Tupperware?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or-
But don't worry, they also sterilized it with the Remy Martin brandy.
Wow, dude, this is just janky.
Yes, it is. So, holding the wound open with a knife and fork, they used the coat hanger to push the catheter into the incision, fixing it in place with adhesive tape. And they fed the tube into the bottle of mineral water, which acted as a valve to drain an air pocket that had built around the lung. They did it. She was conscious during this whole procedure, and she said it was a little unpleasant when they went through the chest wall.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes.
Oh my god, I can't imagine. She only has lidocaine.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and
Also, I think I figured out how they did the water bottle.
okay.
So, like, the end of the tube is probably in the water.
Yes.
So that, like, it only can bubble out water. Like, air can't get in.
Right. Yes, I feel stupid now. You're completely right.
But that makes sense.
It does.
You're not stupid. It took me, like, what, 5-10 minutes to figure it out?
Okay. Thanks for making me
I'm
feel
also
better.
dumb.
No,
I'm just not telling the story.
It was just kind of hard to visualize, but
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so once the catheter had penetrated the tissue surrounding Paula's left lung, the coat hanger was removed, and the air pressure around Paula's lung could now escape into the catheter. And each time she expanded her lung, a little more of the air strangling her was expelled. The flap in the catheter and the seltzer water kept what was expelled from slipping back, yes, and each breath got easier, and within 10 minutes, Paula Dixson was breathing normally again.
Yes, Paula.
Paula, we
Dude,
love
she's
that.
doing it. She has the jankiest set of surgical materials in her body right now.
She
But
does.
she is living.
But that's true. But she had really qualified people using those janky materials,
Yeah, I know.
so it was fine. And Dr. Wallace and Dr. Wong toasted their feet by drinking some of the Remy Martin brandy.
Oh, why the fuck not? That's so baller.
Right. And the total cost of materials used in the operation probably wasn't more than a few dollars, including the tax-free brandy. So,
Oh my god, the tax-free brandy.
right. And Dr. Wallace said it was the most unusual operation I've ever taken part in. And Paula said it wasn't painful because he flicked anesthetic around, but you could still feel it. I felt as though I'd been a lump of meat slung up on a meat hook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're a living piece of meat.
Right, at least you're living. The whole operation took about 10 minutes, and after that, Paula was actually able to have something to eat and watched a movie.
Oh my god.
with a
The fucking catheter in her.
yeah, with a tube sticking out of her into like a water bottle, so wasn't that great.
What do you do as the doctors? You're like, all right, well, like, we're done here. And just go back to your seat and
Yeah.
pop in a movie.
Yeah, I guess.
What? I don't know. I just can't imagine
I
the
know.
scene on this plane.
Like, could you imagine being the person just like in the seat behind her, and you're like,
you just like get front row seat to a open surgery.
yeah, pretty much. That's crazy. That's some crazy shit. But anyway, Paula made it through the rest of the flight, and the big white British Airways 747 landed at London's Heathrow Airport at 5 in the morning on Sunday, May 21st, 1995. Paula, who felt good enough because she had eaten breakfast, was immediately transported to Hillington Hospital just north of the airport. And there, her makeshift surgery was closed, and she slowly recovered from the ordeal.
Wait, so it was just like uneventful? Like she just landed and then went to the hospital and was okay? There was no longer a whole, if she lands, she dies. If she stays the way she is, she's dead. Like that was it?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like no big deal.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just such a crazy thing because they literally had to perform surgery on a plane, but like after they did it, she was pretty much fine, and then she like lived.
So if you got one lung, you're fine.
Well, no. Well, I don't know if her lung went back to like breathing normally or if they just stopped it from like the
They
second
just
one
like
collapsing.
stabilized her.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, she was sent to the hospital and her makeshift surgery was closed and she slowly recovered from the ordeal. And she actually said, "These two heroes saved my life. They really excelled themselves considering the equipment they had." And except for the drama of being at 37,000 feet and the fact that the surgery was not on the menu, the basic care Paula received on British Airways was comparable to what she would have gotten in any hospital emergency room. Back on Earth, the doctors would probably take a little longer to set up the procedure, but as Till Jolly, Associate Trauma Director at George Washington University Medical Center, says, "You can do it in 20 seconds if you have to, but if you don't have to, the doctor on call would probably send her to get a chest x-ray to confirm the diagnosis of the collapsed lung, and then she would have been prepped for surgery with local anesthetic." And a trip to the ER in a US hospital to treat a collapsed lung, including x-ray, tubing, medications, and physician services costs about $1,000. So by comparison, a one-way ticket on British Airways from London to Hong Kong costs about $746, and both the patients and the doctors got bonus of nice trips halfway around the globe and a lot of frequent flyer miles thrown in. So basically what I'm saying is if you need if you need your lung collapse fixed, just do it on a plane. You're sick.
But not just any plane. U.S. British Airways.
Exactly. And Dr. Wallace received an award from the British government for this emergency surgery, and in the aftermath, Wallace and Wong published a brief article in the British Medical Journal about the incident, and Wallace also testified before a parliamentary committee investigating British Airlines' alleged lack of investment in onboard medical equipment. He also said first aid kits on planes from the US are even worse, and airlines over here had virtually nothing on board of use to doctors. At the time, they didn't even have aspirin in their first aid kits, in like US flight first aid kits.
Are you kidding me? Like, heart attack, hello? Somebody's a heart attack on your flight and you don't have aspirin?
I mean, at the time, I think they have since gotten a little bit better.
They've gotten aspirin. That's it.
Exactly.
Literally nothing else.
Sure. So he also stated that there needs to be a major change in attitudes in the US, both from the government and from the airlines. The aircraft's medical kit is quite equipped for having babies and for people who develop urinary blockages, but there's absolutely nothing in the kit that helps you if you need to put in a chest drain, which I guess they weren't anticipating because why would you? But
right.
But, shit happens. So
shit do happen.
He then went on to become renowned in the world of sports medicine and was best known for fixing the broken feet of soccer star Wayne Rooney before the 2006 FIFA World Cup. So that's what Dr. Wallace did after that. And
hell yeah. Did they win?
I don't know.
Whatever. I thought it would be a fun detail.
I don't know if they won. But 1 year later, Paula returned to Hong Kong to be married to her motorbike driver, German banker Thomas Galster, and she wanted Dr. Wallace and Dr. Wong at her wedding. And from a quote from an article, it said, "Miss Dixon, who now lives in Hong Kong, said, 'If it wasn't for the doctors, I wouldn't be here today. I can't thank them enough. I'd have loved them to be here for my big day, but they are both very busy men who are tired of publicity.'" And it said yesterday, meaning February of 1996, Professor Wallace was not available for comment, but his private secretary claimed he wasn't interested in the wedding. He said, "Paula's getting married. Well, ho, ho, ho. As far as Professor Wallace is concerned, it's all over and done with. It's of no interest to him." So he basically said, "Get fucked, Paula."
Yeah, I'm like, what? That's
care about you.
Cold.
I know, it was. That's what I thought too, but I just thought it was kind of funny that he was like, "I simply don't care."
Wow.
Dr. Wong said, "It's great news, and I'm very happy for her, and I would be delighted to see her again when she comes to Scotland."
So yeah, I'm not coming down.
So he said, "Thank you, but no thank you. I'll see you someday, maybe."
Probably not.
Probably not, but maybe.
I think I would have wanted to go.
I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. Okay. Well, I mean, they saved her life, so they
yeah.
don't really owe her anything.
Right. I guess that's true. But yeah, that is Paula's story. It's kind of short, but I just thought it was really incredible, and I couldn't believe that there was actually surgery that happened on an airplane. But yeah, I kind of expected this episode to be a little bit shorter, but I have a couple other crazy things that have happened on airplanes.
Can I say one thing? I thought that they were gonna have to like literally just like stab her to like release the pressure, because like I have seen that happen in movies and am misinformed, but I felt like that was what they should do.
Yeah,
like haven't you seen this before?
We were just talking about that with
Yeah.
who had the tracheotomy or whatever it's called. Brock Meister.
Right.
He's the guy. He was the car crash guy who internally
Remember
decapitated
that?
himself.
Remember that
Remember
guy?
him? Yeah. No, we were just talking about a tracheotomy and how we've seen in movies how they like literally stab people to like open up their shit. But yeah, I mean, they didn't have to do that. Thankfully, they did have a scalpel, and they did form a makeshift tube that stuck in her chest, so it was fine.
Yeah, I know, but the guy from the medical journal was like, yeah, I mean, you could do it in 20 seconds if you needed to.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
I guess.
Like, just fucking anesthetize it and smack it in there?
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know.
So, like I said, I do have a couple other crazy things that have happened on planes just because I wanted to like throw a little something in there. And it came from litzverse.com, just so we know the source of this. And one of the things said, in 2016, a man was taking a flight to Paris and he tried to smoke a cigarette on board. Despite the fact that smoking on planes has been banned for years, he believed that he was above the rules, and he was told by the employees that smoking was not allowed and was asked to stop. He wasn't allowed to have alcohol either, and this made him angry. So how did this man express his anger? He unzipped his pants and urinated on fellow passengers. The victim stood up and punched the man, and they began to fight. And passengers took photos on their phones of the man who started all the trouble being held down by employees. For some reason, the unruly passenger also took his shirt off before letting loose, so to speak, and the airline had to land early so that the man could be detained by authorities.
Wait, so he got mad that they wouldn't let him smoke or drink, so he pissed on the people next to him?
Took off his shirt and then fought someone.
Wait, did he take his shirt off after he peed?
I don't know the sequence of events clearly, but all of those things did happen.
What the fuck? Why is that why wouldn't you pee on the air crew? That made a little bit more sense. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if you had to take your anger out on someone.
How about we don't pee on anyone?
But if you do.
Let's
if
not.
you, like, have to.
You don't.
But if you have to.
Okay. Next up, a 20-year-old college student was on a flight from Malaysia in March of 2018 when he pulled up his laptop to watch a movie, and that's perfectly normal, except he was watching porn. Also, he stripped naked.
Okay.
An employee quietly asked him to stop, so he quickly put his clothes back on.
Just fully butt naked?
I guess.
On a plane. Mm-hmm. And then pulled up porn?
Mm-hmm.
Started...
I don't know. Well, we're not going to talk about anything that may or may not have happened, but...
Things that you do while one may or may not be watching porn butt-ass naked on a fucking plane.
Right, but he got dressed again, so that was just something else that happened. And lastly, very early into a 7-hour flight from Heathrow to Dubai, a passenger went number 2 in the airplane toilets. Before long, the pilot made an announcement asking for the management employees to come to the cockpit to talk, and after a few minutes of discussion, the pilot made the announcement that the smell of someone's, quote, liquid fecal excrement was so pungent that it could already be smelled at the front of the plane because of the recycled air, and considering that they were in the beginning of a 7-hour flight, he felt that for the personal health and safety of the passengers, they needed to turn around and go back to Heathrow Airport. They'd only been in the air for 30 minutes, and everyone was asked to leave the plane, and the passengers were given a free hotel room for the night before boarding a new flight the next day. Could you imagine?
What did he eat?
Could you imagine being that person? Could you imagine?
Nobody knows it's
I would
you.
literally jump from the plane.
Wait, did anyone witness it?
I don't know.
Who did the doo-doo?
Could you imagine your shit smelling so bad that you have to turn an entire plane around for the safety of others?
For the safety of the crew and passengers. That's a great story.
Yeah, that I just couldn't even believe. That was so funny. I mean, there was a flight that I was on that there was a man who smelled so badly that it hurt my nose. I have never smelt a smell so bad that it hurt my nose. And I smelled him as soon as he walked into the gate area, and like it was so unbelievably strong, his like odor. And then we were boarding the plane, and I thought to myself, I feel bad for whoever has to sit near that guy. And I sat directly behind him.
Oh.
I sat in the seat directly behind him, and he would stand up and like put his arms up to put the shit in the overhead bin. Oof. I literally had to move. I had to move. I was like smelling my hair throughout a couple hours that I was sitting behind him, but I literally had to move. It was so terrible.
Yeah, not great.
Have you ever had any crazy shit on a flight?
Yeah, no, I was trying to think. I mean, I've had like, little kids and babies screaming throughout the flight, but I feel like normal. Everyone has a story like that.
Yeah, anyway, that was the story. I guess
have no plane stories.
That's okay. That's good for you. Anyway, do you have a good thing?
I do. My good thing is that the premiere of Rick and Morty came out, and we watched it, and it was fantastic. And I don't care that we talked about it in the beginning because it was that good.
It was
That's
very
my
good.
Good thing.
It was very good. Okay, yeah, my good thing is that I have been putting myself out there a little more. And I've been trying to make friends and, stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit. And, I don't know, I'm meeting some cool people, doing some fun things. And I'm proud of myself, damn it.
Amen.
And that is my good thing.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's so weird because you don't really like realize how the past year has affected you until you try and like talk to other people in groups.
Oh yeah.
Or like try and like just initiate contact. But like, I don't know. I feel like at the same time, I like haven't had that for so long. I just don't care.
Yeah.
At the same time, but it's super hard to start.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. But yeah, that's my good thing. I don't think I have anything really else to say about that. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you would like to keep up with the photos that we post, follow us at nottoday_podcast on Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok at nottodaypodcast. We have a YouTube channel if you would like to listen to us there. And we have a Twitter that is nottoday_podcast, but the T on the end of podcast is a 3.
Because that makes sense.
And just keep breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.